And hello, VAT. Are you selling in the UAE and or KSA? Should you register for VAT and how? My name is Crystal and I'm the founder of Sellers Society and Amazon Sellers Society. And I'm the host of the Weekly Seller Podcast, live every Friday at 7 p.m. right here on the Amazon Sellers Society YouTube channel. Today, we're going to talk about VAT, everything related to VAT when you are selling in the Middle East. So let's get started. So my guest today is Amy, the founder and CEO of Safari Star. You've seen her before on the channel, but it was a while ago. So we wanted to bring her back to talk a little bit more about VAT in the UAE and KSA. But before we get started and before we get Amy on the show, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about our software, Sellers Society. So if you are currently selling on Amazon or on Shopify and you want to be more profitable, especially if you've been selling for more than 6 or to 12 months. And you're finding that you're spending a lot of money on fees, but you don't have good profit. Well, you need a software that can help you. The problem with Amazon is that their back-end dashboard, better known as Amazon Seller Central, is absolutely fantastic. However, it provides you multiple reports. What you need to do in order to know exactly how much money you're making is that you need to download all of those reports, take all of the numbers, put them all together, and then try to make sense of how much money you are making, which of course is a task that requires a lot of time. So what do most sellers end up doing? What they end up doing is basically not looking at the numbers and waiting for Amazon to deposit their money every 15 days, and then realizing that they're making a lot of sales, but they're not getting a lot of deposits from Amazon. So we decided to create Sellers Society, which is a smart profitability dashboard made for people that are in the startup phase, meaning that are newly selling on Amazon anywhere between 6 to 12 months and want to focus more on profits. Sellers Society also helps you get automated reviews. So if you want to try it out, you'll find all of the information on our website, sellerssociety.io. Sellers Society is proudly part of Google for Startups. And we are supported by Google for all of the things that we do. You can find training on our website. You can also test Sellers Society out for a 6-day free trial to see how it operates and to see if it works for you and your Amazon store. Now, let's focus a little bit more on VAT. As you know, we are obsessed with selling on Amazon and in particular in the Middle East. That's why Amy, and Safari Star, who operate anywhere and everywhere when it comes to Amazon, but they also mostly focus a lot on the Middle East, just like I do. I wanted to bring her on the channel again so that we can discuss everything related to VAT. Welcome, Amy.
Hello, Crystal. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
It's been a while.
Yeah. It was last week.
It's been a while that we haven't done anything together. We constantly communicate through email, which is great. But it's been a while that I haven't had you on the channel. So I'm very excited to have you back. And thank you so much for spending your Friday afternoon, my Friday evening, right here on the channel.
Thank you for having me. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So ever since, we had our last video together, we got so much great feedback because VAT, taxes in general, it's not an easy subject for somebody that doesn't come from a finance background or anything related to accounting. So if you're just an entrepreneur or an online seller, VAT can be somewhat of a difficult subject, especially if you don't live in the UAE and KSA and you don't really know the laws and regulations. If you come from a different country, you don't understand how it works. So I'm very excited to have you back. And there are a lot of people that are joining us live. So anyone that has any questions, please write them so that Amy can answer them at the end. How do you want to get started, Amy? Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit more and Safari Star as well?
Okay. Thank you. I will introduce myself as well. Okay, guys. I prepared some slides since I have some issue to upload it. Anyway, thank you for coming today's live stream. And okay, one second. Let me try again if I can upload. But it's okay. Before,
Yes,
if I
no
don't have
problem.
anything, I will still talk through with you guys. But
Of
I will
course.
try one more time if I
Of
can
course.
load.
You know, VAT and taxes is such an odd subject, especially when you have been, living in the UAE for a very long time. Because as you know, one of the great perks of living in the UAE in particular is that we pay no taxes. So even
Yes.
though when we buy products as consumers, we do pay 5% VAT, but we don't really feel it because it's baked into the price of the products.
That's
So when
right.
you become on the other side, when you become an actual seller, you're like, VAT, what's that? Why do I have to pay VAT? So it
Don't
becomes
worry
like
about
a very
it. I will
difficult
talk you
subject.
through, and I will let
Yeah,
you know
so that's
everything
why,
about
you can see,
Yes.
the comment from Muhammad that says, how do we pay VAT in the UAE? Who, how, what's that? Because there's so much misconceptions. So let's get started. First of all, introduce yourself so just everybody knows a little bit more about you and the background and Safari Star, and let's just start discussing VAT.
Okay, Safari Star is a global VAT service provider, and we are specialized in e-commerce industry. And Safari Star, we have our dedicated team and VAT experts, and we are SPN's service provider for many global leading platforms such as Amazon and Noon and Alibaba, Shopee, and many more. And currently, we provide over 15,000 company service for their VAT compliance for around the world.
Wonderful.
And yes, Safari Star was originally established in UAE, and our headquarters is in UK. And we have our customer service center in China. In Saudi Arabia, our office is in Riyadh. So from now on, we provide, we have 12 offices around the world, and we provide 20 countries VAT compliance service, which includes in the Middle East of in UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt. Before I start my topic, let me talk about introduce a little bit more about myself. My name is Amy, you say, and I'm Chinese born, and I'm living in the UK. Now it's Friday afternoon in the UK. So actually, I work as Amazon seller. I started trading online since year 2009. And at that time, business was going great online because there's not much competition. Because I'm Chinese born, I can get lots of good stuff from China and sell in UK.
Yeah.
But I noticed that from 2015, there's more and more Chinese seller get into the market. So the competition was started and getting tougher. But at the same time, I noticed there's another business opportunity. So after done my research, I set up our first office in the UK to provide a VAT compliance service for the seller. So what I'm trying to say is that I want to let you guys know I'm one of yours. I understand as a seller what your requirement, what's difficult you may or you already face. And at the moment, from now on, I've been trading in the e-commerce industry for last 13 years. And I provide VAT compliance service for the last 6 years. So I'm able to help you develop your business internationally without hustle related with the VAT and tax, especially in the Middle East. because we have office in the Dubai and in Riyadh.
And Riyadh.
Yeah. Okay, let's get so
you
what
know,
we're trying to say is that
the great thing about you, Amy, honestly, and anytime, you know, anybody reaches out to me, I'm very happy to introduce them to you. Other than, you know, your service, your whole team is great. But, and, you know, this is, you know, I'm being fully transparent. The great thing is that you know what it means to be an Amazon seller. And sometimes when you reach out to service provider that don't know anything about Amazon, don't know anything about e-commerce, it's a little bit tough to explain to them how the business model works. So they're not really going to understand. But because you have that background and because you mostly work with e-commerce sellers, Amazon, Noon, all of these great marketplaces, you know what the pain points are, and you know how the business operates, so you just know what service to provide sellers. So I'm very happy with that, and I'm very happy that you actually talked about it as well.
Yes, I just want you guys to know I'm one of yours, so I understand your needs.
I'm one of you.
So, don't worry about it. If you have any questions or you have any difficulties, and just let me know. I will try my best to help you out.
Yes.
Let's start.
So, Amy, let's get started. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, let's start with the topic. So, the topic mainly are related with when you need to register, how you need to register, and how to avoid the penalties. And if you get a penalty, how to exempt it. So I will follow up with this procedure to introduce for UAE and KSA. Let's start with UAE first. There is a sales registration threshold for UAE. If your sales reach 385,000, I think, then you are required.
It's a lot.
Let me check what the slide says. So if your sales is over 375,000 dirham, and is compulsory to register VAT. If your sales is 187,500, and then there is a voluntary to register VAT. So, for example, there is still a difference between a local seller or international seller. For the local seller, you have the threshold. So, for example, if you before you sell reach 375,000, you don't have to register.
You don't have to register.
You don't have to register. There is no VAT to be charged, and then you don't need a report as well. So, for example, if you sell 100 dirham for the price, and then you don't need to report the VAT because you're not VAT registered. All the money and good in your pocket, which means your price sale, you're not charged the VAT. Because you're not VAT registered, you don't charge VAT as well. If you're not VAT registered, but you tell people you charge the VAT, and then you will get a penalty. So there's the difference. You're not VAT registered.
So let me focus a little bit on this, because one issue that happens with a lot of sellers once they start selling on Amazon, they get private messages from their customers requesting VAT invoices. The reason why is because, you know, as a company owner yourself, if you buy a product online, you want to report it as a company expense, and it needs to be an official invoice. So that's the problem. The wrong thing to do would be to present an invoice that includes VAT or a tax number when you don't have one. So you need to be very clear in this case with the customer and say, I'm an individual seller, I'm not registered, I'm not VAT registered, so I cannot provide you an official invoice. Correct?
Yes. So
perfect.
If you are foreign seller, this difference is, for example, in the UAE, if you open your Amazon account, use UAE company, or not use a company, but you use UAE Emirates ID to open an Amazon seller account. This you count as a local seller. However, if you register Amazon account, you use India company, for example, or use Chinese company or UK company, you will be counted as a foreign seller. If you're a foreign seller, there's no distance selling threshold. You have to register VAT within 30 days of your first sales. So for example, my first sales is today. You must register VAT within 30 days. Otherwise, you will receive the later penalty of the registration. Yeah. I hope this is
so
clear.
we actually answered Aiko's question, which is if you are living in Europe, does the threshold still apply? It doesn't matter where you are living. It matters how you register. So I can be a company based in the UAE. I'm living in the UK. If I open my account on Amazon UAE with my UAE business, the threshold applies. Me personally, I can be living anywhere I want. But how I register now, if I register as a UK-based company, like Amy said, and I'm selling on Amazon, either UAE or KSA, it applies to both markets, then I'm considered an international seller, which means, like Amy said, no threshold, zero. So you have only 30 days from when you start selling until you have to register for a VAT, because you're considered an international seller. So small question, Amy, from Muhammad, which also is something I think you will be addressing right now, is do we need a company, for example, to register for VAT and pay taxes in the UAE as an example, or in KSA?
No, you don't have to. You can register as an individual seller. Yeah. As long as you can open Amazon account for yourself. So at UAE register, they require you have the Amazon shop link or the snapshot, which confirm you already have business in UAE. Then FTA will give you the VAT number. If you cannot prove you have business there, what you need the VAT for? So that is one of the requirements.
Got it. That's why wait a little bit until you have some transactions and you have an actual store. Until you apply, you have anyways these 30 days.
Exactly. Otherwise, you will get late penalty, late registration penalty, which is 10,000. Used to be 20,000, but the new one is 10,000.
Oh my God. Okay, it's still high. It's still high. So, Amy, do the same exact information apply for KSA as well?
Exactly. Yeah, the same information apply in KSA. The sales distance, sales threshold is the same as well.
Great. I have a question for you because I get this question all the time. Generally speaking, why is there a threshold for people that are selling in the, that are based in the UAE, as an example, and selling on Amazon UAE? So basically local sellers. Why is that, in general? Because you're an expert when it comes to this stuff. Why is there a threshold?
Because normally for most of country, they are protected the local business rather than international. So you are international, you don't pay any corporate tax. So your sales is it's just VAT. VAT is like sales tax. You don't pay corporate tax. You pay income tax in your own country. So that's why they're different.
Got it. One more thing before we talk about the penalties. One more thing to focus on, because I also get this question all the time. It's related to the sales and not to the profit. Because a lot of people tell me, once I get my profits, no, it's 100% related to the sales, not profit.
Yeah, it's a sales tax. Basically, that's indirect tax. It's not like income tax. It's different. It's really simple. It's how much you sell, then the tax you related. However, at the time of when you report your sales tax, your VAT, you can deduct your purchase price. Then you only pay that price which your value added. That's why VAT is value added tax. So that's part of the VAT you pay.
Yes. Okay. Great. Perfect. Because there's always that misconception. Great. Now, coming back to penalty, my first question for you is, and I'm sure you have a lot to talk about the penalties, but my first question, just to get started with this part of the conversation, is a lot of people say, okay, so I'm selling as an international seller. and I didn't register for VAT. Who's gonna know? So should we encourage them to register for VAT or should we not?
I would advise you to register, because if you want to sell in Amazon or anywhere internationally, if you register earlier, you will avoid penalty. Especially in Middle East, I found the penalty is really strong, really high, and then they all calculated the daily. But now I noticed the penalty actually reduced, and there were penalty exemption. And before, if you have any administrative penalty will be exempted if you submit a request by end of this year. But the penalty is only will be exempted if the penalty was received by 31st of May 2022. And because this of COVID period time, that's the government will support to exempt this penalty. This penalty only for extreme, for the penalty like received for late registration, late filing, like administrative penalty. If for the liability, for example, like a tax or VAT, and itself for the liability, you still have to pay. That's because of the support from the government.
So it's best to. So what other penalties might you pay that are related to VAT other than late registration or not filing even?
Yeah, for example, the penalty were related with VAT is late registration, late filing, and late payment. Most are the three. And also they may relate with if you charge the invoice wrong. If your invoice had you VAT registered, but your invoice doesn't show your VAT number, they may charge you as well. Yeah. That's the penalty related. Okay. And also there's very careful is if your sales below the threshold, and or if you don't have sales anymore continuously for 4 quarters, so it's 1 year, and then you have to deregister the VAT number. Otherwise, you will get 10,000 dirham of fine of late deregistration. It's the same, so have to be careful. If you don't have sales.
So basically, if you stop selling, you need to also deregister from the VAT, or else you're going to have a penalty. That's interesting. That one I didn't know. That's because I don't want anyone to stop selling. That's why I don't know it. I want everyone to sell.
Notice that, but actually do. Yeah. So, for example, it means you no trade anymore. The government have no. You spend a lot of time for them to look after your VAT.
Got it. Yes.
They want. You have no business. You don't need anymore, so you have to deregister.
Got it. Yes, it's the same for a lot of countries when you want to, stop your business or something like that, like just your company or something like that. So that's interesting, and that's important to know. So for anyone that is already registered in the VAT and has decided or is not getting any sales for some reason or something like that, they need to be cautious of that. So how do we register for VAT, Amy, in the UAE and or KSA?
In the UAE, actually, is quite easy, but the time takes slightly longer. So with the UAE, you can register. Actually, you can register in FTA portal by yourself. But lots of people when they register and take a very long time, and they are not able to get a VAT number because they now submitted the right information. The information they require. If you need all the details, I can share the slides for you later, because
we have your website and all of your details in the description box of the video. So anyone that wants to reach out to you, they can reach out to you directly on your website, and you can guide them through that.
Sure. Exactly. You can just put on softwarestar.com and you can get all the information there as well. I will put the slides today, and all information you need are in there. Just on top of my head, I can't remember the whole thing. Most documents require your company registration documents and your ID and your turnover. So basically your estimated turnover, your Amazon link, your Amazon accounts, and also that your bank account, and relate also your authorization of a signature. So that's normally the documents you require when you register. For Saudi registration, it's a lot more complicated, and most people you're not able to register by yourself, because in Saudi Arabia they require physical representation. Or if you don't go through with physical representation, you still need an accountant to file your VAT return.
Yes.
And also when you register, they have a phone number linked with your registration. Your registration. So each time when you log into the account, they will send your OPT to log into account. So it's really difficult when you register in KSA.
So you need to have a local number, okay?
Yeah,
so that you can
use
do
a
all
local
of that.
number, and also you need to use a local representative to do the job for you.
Yeah. Okay.
You may get registered, but when you file, you still need local accountant to file for you. So it's not that easy as like in UAE. UAE is much easier. Also in UAE, but in case you make a mistake, you will get a penalty. For example, if you make a mistake later file, you get a penalty 1,000, and your later payment penalty is like 2% at the start, and after 1 month your penalty is 4%. So it's easy, but it's very easy for you to make a mistake as well. So when you make mistakes, you get lots of penalties. So that's hard. Yeah.
So getting the number is not the issue. Getting VAT registered and getting a tax number can be done in both markets, but it's the filing that requires a lot of work, and more in KSA, because if you're an international seller, you need to have a representative, because of that's how the nature of the business is in KSA. And like you said, you need somebody local with a local phone number so that you can get an OTP. So it's a little bit more complicated in KSA. And I know, because you provide this service, when you are also being somebody's fiscal representative, you as a company also are being liable, because if your customer doesn't pay the VAT, you're the ones that are liable. So it becomes that's why it's not easy to find somebody that does this type of service in KSA, because there are a lot of especially for small Amazon sellers, because there's a lot of you're taking on a lot of risk as a company because you are representing someone. So that's understandable why it's a little bit tough in KSA. In UAE, it's much easier, like you said, but you need to make sure you don't make mistakes with your filing so that you don't end up paying a penalty and you don't pay more than you should.
Exactly, yeah. We do get a lot of issues with KSA.
Yeah.
Because when you register first, now you know when you can register, and then you have to file. When you file your VAT return, you normally need your platform sales report. So for example, if you sell on Amazon or Noon, you get your monthly VAT report, you file every quarter. There's difference between Saudi and UAE is that they all file quarterly. But this quarterly in UAE, they count every 3 months. But in Saudi, it's count every quarter is called, for example, it's January, February, March. But in UAE, they count like every 3 months. They can be random 3 months. So at the first time you file, they maybe 2 months or maybe 4 months. But they just tell you which date you file the first time. But in Saudi, it's just consecutive every quarter. Yeah.
You have to follow the actual calendar. Okay.
Yes.
That's great. So Amy, my last question for you is very, very important, I think. A question from ClickCart before I ask my final question is, So what is the minimum threshold for filing in VAT for KSA? Let's say you are a local-based seller.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like the UAE. So the threshold would be 187,500, I believe, Saudi riyals.
I think it's 100.
That's where you can register for VAT
yes.
if you want.
Yes, that's the voluntary register. So you can register that. Yes. So for example,
if you get to that number.
Yeah, if your sales is less than 175,000, so you don't need to register at all. Or maybe when you register, they're not going to give you VAT number. However, some people or some company wants to register VAT at the start of the business, and we're still able to get the VAT number for you. For example, I have pre-sales already over that amount, and then you were able to get the VAT number. But if your business is below 185,000, and you are continuously for quarter, and then you still need to deregister. So if you want to register, you have to make sure your business is reached or over that amount.
But the mandatory is, so when you hit that number as a local seller, it's 375,000. That's the mandatory. And if you are an international seller, for anyone that's joining us now, you have to register from zero. So there's no minimum threshold. It's from when you start, like Amy said. Amy, my question for you is related to, because you work a lot with a lot of sellers internationally. So like you said, you have 20 offices around the world. You serve every single Amazon marketplace. You're part of the Amazon service provider network. So you're approved by Amazon and you work with a lot of Amazon sellers. A lot of people ask me, what is the current situation of Amazon in the Middle East? We see it thriving. What about you? How many people are requesting your services?
There are lots in Amazon, and because in Middle East is a huge market and a newly developed market. What I just said before, Middle East is a new market for all the sellers actually. So it's good to start now. Why I said Middle East is good? Because all the platforms are new, are really young. For example, the biggest platform was Noon, the local platform, right? They was established in 2017.
2017, I believe. Yes, 2017 or 18.
And Suk.com was established, I think, 2005, I think, but it was taken over at 2018 by Amazon. Amazon is global, the biggest platform, right? They only take over in 2018. So this is so new, and there's so many opportunities. And for, especially, I always say for Saudi Arabia, there's a lot of opportunities because this country is newly and open for the world. And there's like 30 million people. And what I read the news about it, that they said, at
33 actually.
33 version, they will
33 or 36 million, so it's really good.
They said double the population. The population is gonna increase into 60,000. So 6 million. So in this,
that's why you guys have an office in Riyadh. You know what's
the whole
happening.
city in Jeddah, I think they're gonna rebuild. So there's a lots of opportunities. For sure, especially for e-commerce as well. And also people are young. The average age is, I think, is 25. So all the young people are easy to accept and adapt to new things. So that's a lot of opportunities. I would think it's a great time to get into the market now and establish your brand.
Thank you so much, Amy, for that answer. Just so everyone knows, I didn't tell Amy to say this. She's saying it out of her own free will. But that's exactly what I see. And I know, of course, you know, Amy, as well, it's not easy to have a business, but, you know, it's also very much worthwhile if you know how to manage it and operate it. And the reason why you provide your services is just to remove something off of somebody else. Like you said in the beginning, you don't need to worry about it. You can give something like VAT registration filing to somebody that knows what they are doing, and you can focus on building your business and providing best quality products for your customers. Or you can just, you can register yourself and do this as well if you can. But, VAT registration shouldn't be the reason why you shouldn't launch a business somewhere. It's just a part of doing business.
Of course, yeah. VAT is, you have to make the compliance and then to build your business for sure, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Amy, for your time. Thank you for anyone that is joining us live or watching this in the replay. Like I said, if you want to reach out to Amy, Safari Star, and Amy's team, you'll find all of the information about Amy, Safari Star. They're a fantastic company, offices all over the world. Some of their team also speaks Arabic, that are based in Riyadh and Dubai. So you'll find all the nationalities, and you can reach out to Amy, get more information about VAT filing, all of that. And thank you so much, Amy. Thank you so much for your knowledge and information.
Thank you for having me, and thank you everyone to join today's live stream. Hopefully see you soon. If you need any help, you can get in touch with us, and our website is just
safaristar.com. It's very easy.
Safaristar.com. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay,
Thanks,
great.
Amy.
Thank you. Yeah. See you guys. Bye.